So why, when and how should you register as a food business with your local authority? Right, as usual, do not shoot the messenger, right? But I'm not here to mollycoddle you, but I am here to look after you. I'm here to just give you the facts and help you to make your own decisions, right? So, according to the FSA, that's the Food Standards Agency in the UK, you must register as a food business if you provide food for consumption outside of the family home on a regular and organised basis, whether for free or for money, right? So they don't care if you're making a profit, if you're covering your costs. Are you regularly supplying food for multiple other people to eat on any kind of organised basis? The FSA also say that if you are an occasional and small scale baker, it's unlikely you will need to register, right? Think about it, right? Are people putting in requests, also known as orders, in advance? Are you actively encouraging this by posting photos on your social media? Are you baking for your husband's place of work once a week? Are they putting in requests? You know, if you're feeding 30 or 40 people a week, even for free, in return for feedback, you might need to be registered, or you might not, right? How can you work this out? If you are working for a cafe and you're making cakes for them in your home kitchen will need to be registered as well. You might say you only make one cake a month, but if that one cake a month is a wedding cake to serve 75 people, 200 people, right, I think you might be pushing it. So, like if you're consistently posting pictures of 5 bakes every week, you're not fooling anybody. That's not hobby baking. That, you know, you're encouraging orders, aren't you? Whether you admit it or not, that's what you're doing. So somebody's going to be screenshotting. So even if you're not blatantly advertising, people are going to be asking. You might think you're doing it all in secret, but you never know who is screenshotting and reporting and using those screenshots as evidence. It might be your next door neighbour that's peed off that their drive keeps getting blocked by people picking cakes up. It might be a competitor. It's probably going to be a competitor. It might just be the local B word who doesn't like anybody and who feels like being spiteful towards you this time. Either way, if it's proof that you're doing it, they've got your counter rights, haven't they? So I'm going to address this, right, because I've seen it said numerous times in cake groups that if any money's changing hands at all, even just to cover the cost for one cake, you're not allowed to do it. You've got to be registered. I've scoured pages and pages of official Food Standards Agency, government websites, official training providers, and I haven't found that said that, you know, if you just take money for one cake. Obviously, if you've got something, if you can send me a link to anything official that says otherwise, please do send me it, because I want to deal with facts, right? But everything I've searched, and I've searched absolutely everything, right? I've never come across that. They literally don't care whether you're taking money or not. Now, certain local authorities might have got a bit peed off with home bakers during COVID and decided for themselves that certain, you know, local authorities are going to do that. But every official source I've looked at just uses those words regular and organised, and outside your home. It's not even clearly defined. And so as far as they're concerned, the money's of no consequence. It's you supplying food. So occasional and small scale, regular and organised, this is all open to interpretation, right? The only way you can possibly know for sure is to contact your own local authority. Don't ask on Facebook, don't even ask me. I don't know what your local council have told their food safety team, you know, what they've decided they're going to stick to. The only way you can know is to pick up the phone and have an honest conversation about exactly what you are doing and how you're doing it. And they will let you know, and what they say goes. It doesn't matter. A cake maker in the same town as you might have a different EHO that has a slightly different opinion. You've got to accept what you've been told. I don't agree with scaring hobby bakers unnecessarily, right? If it's December and at the start of the month 2 of your nieces have had birthdays and your sister's giving you money to make them a birthday cake, right? And then it's the office Christmas party, you're taking a box of cupcakes, and then you bake a few members of your family a Yule log as their gift. No one's going to come and knock your front door down and throw you into prison for that. Imprisonment is a possible option, but home bakers are not getting thrown into prison. It's when it's like blatant out and out disregard, when you're supplying a lot of people and you're consistently being told not to, and you're consistently doing it. That's when, you know, the legal stuff really kicks in. In most cases, they'll just message you and tell you that you need to be registered. I've actually had one of these messages. Somebody reported me, but at the time I was actually subletting with 2 other cake makers under an umbrella business name, and we were registered. But it did make me realise in that moment it's a bit of a gotcha moment. You know, once you've got that message, you've got to bear in mind that by the time they are messaging you on your Facebook, they've already got all the screenshots. They've gone through your profile, they've gone through any pages you've set up, and they know what you're doing. So if you suddenly delete everything, that is going to look really bad. It's going to go against you. That's when prosecution might kick in, right? You might get fined. You'll certainly be told to close down until you are registered and inspected. So they will contact you on Facebook. I've heard people say, oh, they won't contact you on Facebook. That's not professional. You're selling through Facebook. They don't know where you are. If they've caught you on local selling sites, they don't know where you're trading from, so they can't check your address and check that you're registered. So they are going to message you on Facebook. Our local one is actually, the whole food safety team goes under the name of Edwin Chadwick. It was a public figure to do with all public health reform and things like that back in 1800s. And they all message from his profile, but they sign it off with their own name. So they will contact you through Facebook. Right. Registration is free and it cannot be refused, but it does need to be done 28 days before you open. If you've already started, just do it straight away. A lot of people appear to say that as long as they're registered, they're all right. You don't have to wait for an inspection before you can trade, but you do need to be registered. If you are told you've got to wait 28 days, then you've got to wait your 28 days, unfortunately. So the purpose of registration is that your business can then be assessed food safety wise to make sure you're doing everything in your power to provide safe food. This assessment is done in most cases still by a home visit from an environmental health officer, food safety enforcer. They might have a few different job titles, but it's all the same thing. As most of us are classed as low risk, a lot of local authorities are apparently happy to just do phone calls and then email, you email them photos of your paperwork and your workspaces and your storage and things. Your work and your paperwork, it should all be the same regardless of however you're going to be inspected. So it's, the work you need to do is all the same. When you are inspected, you're going to be expected to have a level 2 food hygiene certificate at a minimum and allergy training, and you're going to be expected to know all about labelling from Natasha's Law. I'm going to add links to as much free stuff as I can in the caption for this. Right, you'll be expected to have full documentation around the steps you are taking to make sure that the food that you provide is safe. Easiest way to do this, certainly at the beginning, is with the Safer Food Better Business book. Certainly before your first inspection, while you're finding your feet, especially if you've never worked with food before, please get the Safer Food Better Business. There are books out there sold specifically for home cake makers, and they are good, but they may not cater for every single aspect. If you do a few cream teas and sandwiches and things, the cake maker one might not cover you. It depends on how high risk you go. I'll be doing my own version of that, but I'll never recommend it to a brand new cake maker. They're only really for established cake makers who already know the SFBB completely and who know what they're doing. So if you need any extra help, I've created a course, an online course to help you get through your inspection. It's lifetime access, so you can refer back to it whenever you need. I'll give you loads of examples of paperwork and cake-specific safe methods, right? That's the big thing. I'll cover everything you might possibly need to be asked about. It's likely you won't be asked about everything that I cover, but I want you to be prepared for every eventuality, because every business, every home kitchen, every EHO is different. So I want every single detail to be covered that you might possibly need. I've scoured all the official websites, and I've got 22 years of food safety inspection experience. I don't know if I'm saying that right, in all different types of businesses, right? So I've gone really deep. I'm not allowing any incorrect information to be out there in my domain, right? I'm not going to be teaching you level 2 or your allergen trainings. You've got to do them from a certified provider. I'm basically talking you through what to expect from a home cake business inspection. You all know how my brain works, right? I've gone down all the rabbit holes. I've done trainings that are meant for the enforcers. So this should be the most detailed, perfectionist-driven, hyper-focused home cake business inspection course on the market. You know how my head works by now. I do every tiny detail. I'm going to cover, get ready, typical hidden allergens and nasties we need to look out for, such as in colourings and sprinkles that we might not always think about. Labelling headaches as they apply to all different kinds of packaging and selling methods, how to work out your best before and use by dates, HACCPs, also known as safe methods, critical control points, specific to what we do. I'm going to bust some common cake community bullpoop. We should not be wrapping hot cakes in cling film and putting them in our freezers. We should not be using an entire bottle of food colouring in one batch of buttercream. You don't need a separate brand new inspection because you start using fresh cream instead of Elmley in your ganache. I've seen that written, right? That's not true. I'm going to cover how you should be packaging and transporting your ingredients, not just your cakes, to make sure you've got food safety, how to run your diary and arrange your paperwork, or your cleaning how-tos and schedules, cleaning products you should and should not be using, buildings and layout, pest control, how to handle your pets, your kids, your partners, they're the worst, aren't they? Stock control and storage, how to do full traceability just in case you are asked for it. A lot of people are not asked for it, but some are. What to do in case of a complaint. Did you know if you get a food safety complaint, you've got to report it to your AHO? Yeah, I'm going to cover that. What to inspect on inspection day, what your rating actually means, plus all the risk assessments you could possibly ever need. COVID, health and safety for yourself, your family, your clients, for venues, for marketing events, all the COSH type stuff, fire safety, a lot of which you don't legally need unless you've got staff, but of course I will cover because my brain makes me do it. And I just want you to know, because your own health and safety, you might not realise how it does affect you. You might be more at risk than what you might think, breathing in flour dust and stuff. So remember the mindset that I want you to have. This is not about covering yourself, it's about the health and safety of the people who are eating your cakes. Please note I am based in England. I've studied our regulations. There might be slight variations in some subjects and some paperwork in other parts of the UK. This course is not aimed at anyone outside of the UK. All the links are attached. My time's running out on this video. Ask any questions in the comments. Thank you.